我们第7首印象 Impressions， 请播放回顾录像。文耀是我们最年轻的作曲者，今天
对，这正是我要讲的。Yeah， 您Nathaniel, you are 11 or 12?
I am 11 years old.
My God！ 哦，鼓掌！我们历史上最年轻的作曲家，新加坡华乐团。我看在新加坡历史上也是可以写一笔了，太高兴了。好，那么我非常高兴你能够写这个。Can you understand my Chinese?
Not really.
Oh, okay. Let me speak English then. Yeah. So we're very happy to have such a young composer to join us. You're the youngest ever to join us. Yeah, in such a national level. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. So anyway, we'd like to hear what you think about the piece.
Thank you for bringing me here. It is an honor to have my music performed by the Singapore Chinese Orchestra. Impressions started out as a musical painting of the super trees. Later on, I realized that the super trees look like bunga manga, which can be seen in Malay weddings. I realized that after completing the musical painting, the music that I have composed has some Malay elements in it. I extended this idea for this piece to represent the 4 major ethnic groups of Singapore, creating 4 movements. Unfortunately, due to time constraints, you can only hear movements 1 and 3 of this piece, Super Trees and Dragon Playground. My inspiration for Dragon Playground was the iconic Dragon Playground in Toa Payoh. I thank Maestro Ye and Mr. Wang for their advice and their guidance throughout this workshop, and for all the performers to bring my music to life. I also thank Ms. Ng and all the support staff, for which without them, this workshop would never have been possible.
Bravo. Thank you. I'm very inspired. I hope I could do as same when I was 11 years old. But anyway, perhaps Le Chen, do you have any feeling or expression or any suggestion towards Nathaniel?
I'll use English.
Yeah, please.
You're using a very effective use of percussions, because there's minimal percussion, but it makes an effect, which is very good. Now, I would just like to ask why you use a marimba on the first movement instead of maybe, let's say, vibraphone or something like that. Because I feel that there's certain kinds of, you want the notes to sustain through a bit. Ya da da di da da, ya da di da da, something like that. Why not use something that can sustain a bit more?
Yes, the marimba part in the first movement. I decided to use the marimba as it is a contrast against the instruments which, however, can sustain like the huqin and the woodwinds.
Oh, I see. Okay. That's good. And then I like the use of that gu in the front part of the second movement. And just one thing, maybe just a suggestion. At the end of it, where the ta gu comes in, maybe you would like to think beginning part is very grand because you introduce the orchestra. So you have that big drum, but maybe in the near to the ending where the drum part might be, you might think of the xiao gu, which is much better because then you thin out the frequencies. It's not that domineering, and then you'll blend well with the orchestra. Just a suggestion. Yeah.
Yes, I will keep that suggestion in mind next time when I'm writing All Chinese Orchestra.
Okay, thank you. Well done.
Well, thank you. And maybe Fu Qiang, you can...
Okay, thanks, Wenya. So, do I speak English?
Yes, English, please, so he can understand.
Okay. All right. For the first movement, okay, it's a surprise for me because it is you were written in orchestra format, but in the end, started playing in the chamber chamber style. Yeah. So only one who is playing. So throughout the playing, I felt that because of the orchestration, it's not suitable for a chamber setting. So some parts of the erhu parts, it doesn't blend with others. So it's like I'm playing alone. I couldn't hear other people who is doing the same thing with me or a counterpart with me. So it's a difficult part for me to blend with the others, the parts. So yeah, probably this section, first movement, it could be arranged in a way that in a chamber music format. So it will blend more easily for players to play. Right? Okay. You have something to say?
I agree with you about the chamber music format because Maestro Ye pointed out in one meeting that the Super Trees movement sounds more intimate, hence it is more suitable for a chamber music format, like you said. And the Dragon Playground movement is more festive and playful, which lends itself well to an orchestral format.
Right. Yeah, yes, I agree with that actually. So for the second movement, that this is a more happening section, and I have a problem regarding like a bar 30, because you didn't write any of the bowings there, and because other section you wrote a bowing there. So only for this section there's no bowing. So in the first place we added on all the slurs onto the semiquavers. But in the end, it came out to be like a bit blur in the orchestra. So after conductor Song Ye decided, and we changed it to a separate bow. So it came out a bit more easy. Yes. So if next time maybe you should write the bowing more clearly so that the players can have more direction, right?
Yes, I agree. The bowing is actually really important when considering with both string instruments.
Right. Oh yeah. Thanks. That's all for me.
Okay. Excellent. Cheng Wei, now it's your turn. Oh, go ahead, please.
I'm very excited, no? When I know that you're only 11. No? When I'm 11, I'm still playing marble at the Dragon Playground. You have a very clear mind. You know what you want. You have your request. That's very good. That's wonderful. Okay. I just have a simple suggestion from the Sona player. Okay. On the bar 41 on the Dragon Playground, bar 41, there is a super very high D, 2 ledger line up, the D. Yeah. So just keep in mind that for wind instrument, the flute and the Sona, whatever the key it is, the 5th and the 6th, these 2 highest notes, is really a challenge for them to play. So try to avoid the last 2 notes for the wind instrument, especially the swana and the dizi. So it will either you able to change another key or change to another swana, or maybe we can avoid it, or maybe an octave lower, whatever it is. Okay, but the whole passage, the low note is okay with the swana player. Yeah. Just a word about that. Thank you.
I agree with Mr. Lin's comments. It's like okay. The high D, of course, is a playable, but usually the result is a very tight, a bit on the tight side. And then with the tempo, sometimes it's kind of hard to operate in this way. And then not to adding that your orchestration, the rest of the orchestra is rather thin. You don't have much things going on. So a very high sona, hanging in the middle of a very high notes, and doesn't have a lot of things to support. So sounds a little bit strange for that particular place. Okay, thank you. All right, so perhaps now it's Mr. Wang.
Yeah, maybe I'll just continue on the swana topic. For some instruments, like if you have a very important melody for it, actually sometimes I will compose the key, choose a key that is most suited to present that melody for that instrument, right? So for example, I might compose the part for this instrument first, and then I see what key is it most suitable in, and then I build everything else around that. If that instrument is like the most important component of that particular section. Okay, so anyway, I would say you're a rare talent for 11-year-old, and the maturity of your composition is well beyond your age. And of course, we know that that you do a lot of things that are well beyond your age, right? Okay, so I appreciate the creative textures in your piece, and there's a very smooth flow and unfolding of both movements. For the first movement, I like your out-of-box thinking with regards to the structure. So out of the box meaning like your melodies are not like 4 bars antecedent, 4 bars consequent, that kind of classical structure. So it is a very fluid structure, but yet creates a pleasing dramatic arc. So that means we don't, although it's an irregular structure, but we don't feel anything strange about it. It does come to a satisfying conclusion every time. So I think that was excellent. Yeah. And in your Dragon Playground, you also had a variety of interesting progressions and combinations of instruments and timbres, right? Okay, so I have a question about the end. So you have quite an exciting movement, like the second movement, like this, and quite lively. And you have a very fast cool down, like within 2 bars near the end. So is it like your mom suddenly calls you to go home and you have to stop playing?
Well, sort of like that. It's probably more like children leaving the playground because it's night time.
Actually, Mr. Wang said is for a big orchestra, adults play that music in sort of slow, certainly 3 bars in within 8 beat, and coming down from such an exciting piece is a bit too quick, too soon. That's why exactly he said. Okay, so in future, if you want to come down, perhaps a little bit longer time would be more appropriate. That's his suggestion.
Yeah, I guess you will realize.
He was very polite. Yeah, actually, his suggestion is perhaps you take a bit longer time.
Yeah, I guess you'll slowly realize that the sky is getting dark, and then maybe your mom is shouting it the first time, and the second time, third time. Okay,
almost
then
like a yum. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, that is my only suggestion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
好，谢谢文耀。我们今天最后的一部作品《鲑鱼岛的传说》，请播放回顾录像。